The sound of the final buzzer means it's hangover time. So grab a drink and join your host, Alphonse Sidney, for a Miami Heat Beat postgame show.
Heat win! Heat win a hugely important, significant, monumental game. This had so many implications going forward. It's wild. I can't believe they were able to beat the Pistons C squad with the Heat C squad. Let me turn my TV off in the background. I'm probably gonna break some copyright laws. But for real, man, I like these games. They're fun. You get to see some of the young guys in almost like a G League, Summer League scenario. I contend, I said it on the timeline, like KZ Okpala and Precious Achiuwa are going to really need those G League and Summer League runs next year to build up this kind of confidence, because you see a skill set there. Precious looked like the greatest roll man in the history of the league tonight, like the biggest lob threat you've ever seen, like Clint Capella-esque. He got a double-double. Overall, just a fun game. They blew him out from tip-off. They controlled the game. But more importantly, last game of the regular season, the Heat, as much as we complain, as much as we get upset, the Heat won 12 of their last 16 games, right? They avoided the play-in round. It's looking tonight like the Lakers, the other NBA Finals team, are going to end up in the play-in round playing the Golden State Warriors. And how fun is that going to be, watching Steph try to send LeBron home? And, and for the Heat to avoid that while you're watching the Lakers struggle, we have to give them those props, right? Like, good job avoiding the play-in. Good job with, there was one point they were 14th in the East, 7 games under 500. They've come from a bunch of injuries, a bunch of struggles, COVID protocols, all kinds of crap, right? And they managed to make the 6th seed, and they're headed for a first round with the Bucks. Not the most ideal matchup, but listen, I ain't afraid of the Bucks. I know Twitter isn't afraid of the Bucks. Jimmy Butler ain't afraid of the Bucks. We sent the Bucks home in 5 last year. So I think, listen, not the most ideal situation, but I think we are, as a show, are ready for the postseason. I think the Heat are ready for the postseason. They're playing strong going into it, and they have a week off, which is the most important thing, which is why you wanted to avoid the play-in. So go ahead, bring me out, Brass. Somebody said that Alf not watched the final 2 minutes. I didn't really watch the final 2 minutes.
Well, we saw the Hero thing. We were talking about that.
Oh, yeah, we talked about the Hero. He got up. He was fine. And they got a week off, which I think is the most important thing about avoiding that play-in tournament. A week for Dragic to get healthy, Jimmy to get right. Like, they have a week to get right, and that's going to be super important. So, on a special day, we will get to it in a second. Me and Brass giving you a little bit of a hint, why this is a special day. Because fuck them numbers, but the number 516 is an important one. So let's find out what everyone's drinking. And I always go clockwise. But today I'm not going clockwise. Oh. I am starting with my right hand, the birthday girl, Tiffany Meeks. That's why we got the Fuck Them Numbers shirt. Go ahead, go to shop.miamiheatbeat.com. Get your Fuck Them Numbers shirt. Support us, support Tiff. Happy birthday, Tiff.
Thank you.
Yes.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you. And we can't clap and sync because the first of all, because you guys are white,
in general.
and then
right.
The tape delay, it's going to be a mess.
Right.
But happy birthday, Tiff! What are you drinking tonight, or are you done drinking after this weekend?
I'm in load management right now, rest and recovery. The last 2 days have been a lot, so right now I'm just drinking some water and just trying to get myself together.
You need this week off just as bad as the Heat do. Carly Liana says her birthday is tomorrow. No,
Yes,
Carletiana. I say that shit wrong all the time.
I love you struggling to say it. It's my favorite.
It's Carletiana. Carletiana. Her birthday is tomorrow. Big fan of the show. We love you so much.
Absolutely.
Happy birthday to you as well. G, what are you drinking in celebration of the Heat making the playoffs? Also, Chris Bosh getting inducted to the Hall of Fame.
Yes.
Stick around for that, guys, around the 15 minute mark, somewhere around there. Whenever I remember to get back to it, we have an amazing Chris Bosh montage created by the one and only Brassjazz to honor one of our, I think everybody on this panel, one of our favorite players, just legend, just one of the most fun players in Miami Heat history. Congratulations, Chris Bosh. So deserving. The only thing that sucks is that he has to go in with Mike Wilbon and Paul Pierce.
That just sucks.
Yeah.
Mike Wilbon, who slandered him throughout his tenure, and Paul Pierce, who's just disgusting.
Well, I will say it's kind of nice that he gets to be probably maybe the best player in the class.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, some people argue with Paul Pierce, but everybody hates him because of his post career, because of his, just his time at ESPN. So, like, he's going to be the most beloved guy in that Hall of Fame class. It ain't going to be, Chris Webber, and Ben Wallace. I'm a little bit iffy on that one. Like, listen, a lot of depoys, but that's a rough one for me. I'm sorry, and I love Ben Wallace.
Would have been cool to get Hardaway in there.
Yeah, but listen, sometimes you say the wrong things. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes, Timmy. And I do love. We could talk about that a little bit, but I do like the fact that he has done everything in his power to make amends and has done a lot of really good work. And if you guys don't know, he went on the radio with Dan Le Batard and said just horrific things about gay and LGBTQ, and it was just horrific. It was like it sounded like a caveman. And then and I do think that's a big part of the reason why he's not in the Hall of Fame. But he has done good work since then, and those are the things that we want and we ask for from people who make mistakes. So props to Timmy. But listen, if you don't get into the Hall of Fame because of that,
you reap what you sow.
Exactly. Don't be ignorant. There's no excuse for it, in today's day and age. There never was.
As a player, he's always going to be a Hall of Famer in our hearts. So
he's a Hall of Famer in our hearts. But listen,
what a lead-in.
Like I said, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. What are you drinking today to celebrate Chris Bosh and Tiffany Meeks and Carletiana?
Lots to celebrate today. King Barros 89 in chat for the tier 1 sub, for the prime sub. We appreciate that. But listen, y'all. A toast of bubbly to our wonderful friend Tiffany Meeks, to another season in the books with the greatest people I know, and to Boshi Q Bear. Cheers.
Yes. Cheers.
Cheers, guys.
I'm using the same cup that I left
up in here.
I'm using the same cup that I left down here on Saturday night when I got fucked up.
This is our 8th season doing Miami Heat Beat. And
really?
Eighth season, and another regular season in the books.
It's the first good one. It's the first we've made money.
It really is. It is the first. It's the first that we haven't lost money. Yeah, we've been in the red for 7 seasons. Congratulations! Look at that.
Yeah.
Progress.
One time for the profits.
Thanks, Second Christian.
Now, Second Christian. Cooking the books.
Oh yeah.
Brass, what are you drinking tonight?
So I made a drink called an artichoke hold, which was Chinar, Jamaican rum, lime juice, orgeat, some Saint Germain. It's good. It's real good because listen. Artichoke hole, because we got this league in a fucking chokehold. We got them right where we want them.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Why would we want any other bracket? Have you seen this bracket?
I
mean, clearly the only reason is this had to have been intentional, right? I mean,
Absolutely.
Come on.
I want to get into that a little bit. I don't want to go too off on that topic, on that tangent. But y'all out here, man, in the YouTube comments, on Twitter, talking about this is what you wanted.
Right,
you want to be battled to get the fuck out of here.
Listen, I'll say
I want the easiest. I want the easiest
baby.
road.
That's how you prove you're not a fluke.
minimum wage
I want-
path.
I want all those boys that soft as baby shit.
I will say though, it's the path that would feel the fucking best though.
Sure, but you know what?
No,
Also
beating the Knicks in the first round would feel way better.
Yes.
Ending their season.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I just think it's fucking. I just think it's funny. Like
No, you know what though? No, G. That's the thing with Knicks fans, and this is my problem. This is the problem I have with fucking Knicks fans here. Is it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Listen, Alf can control that. It doesn't matter if we match up with the Knicks and we swept their asses and we just completely destroyed them. It doesn't matter because they're just gonna go, oh well, hey, yeah, but look at this season. Look, no one expected us, so and it's fucking tired. We said many times this is the fucking bubble for this is the fraud season that's happening right now because of all the COVID and just all the fuckery that went on early on in the season. And so yeah, even if we would have whooped them, you couldn't go full UD in their face. So
I think G said it on Twitter today. It's like the fact that either the Knicks or the Hawks will be in the second round of the playoffs.
Yeah.
It's a fraudulent fucking season.
Oh, that's the happy
100%.
to be here series. It's the happy to be here series live on NBA TV. It's disgusting.
But you know what? They're praying it ain't the Hawks.
Oh yeah.
They praying.
If I think the Hawks would be a way better like they're way more.
It's not about.
It's
not about
that.
I know.
You know that.
A little bit. A basketball fan. I don't want that fucking garbage New York team anywhere near the second round. Do not ruin my second round.
But the NBA needs eyes on the TV. Ain't nobody tuning in for the Hawks.
They want that dusty ass arena. It's gross. I mean, how you gonna? It's like, listen.
It's a terrible arena.
It's awful. And at least the Orange Bowl had personality. Like, whatever. It smelled like urine, but that was our urine. That's a shithole. MSG's a shithole. Fuck that place.
Franky, what are you drinking tonight?
I'm double fisted. I'm doing a little bourbon and a little Pothic Red.
That's a lot of bourbon.
We getting fucked up tonight, guys.
Let's go. I don't see ice in there.
It melted. It melted. I had ice cubes in there.
I was going to say, holy shit. So, Schmeeth and Schmolnick said they're going to put Knicks Hawks on Spike TV.
That's the Nickelodeon
Does that even
series.
exist?
Yeah.
Used to.
That bitch
Oh, they say... Somebody say BET.
It's gonna be on True TV. It's gonna be on True TV at some point.
It's gonna be on BET.
They're gonna put that shit on. They're gonna stream that shit live on Twitch. They're gonna take away some.
Is 106 and Park? Is 106 and Park still on?
No.
No,
I don't know. Honestly, it might
I don't
be.
know. I never listen. I ain't watched BET in 20 years. I
What
don't
happened to Big Tigger?
Yo.
Wait, did you just ask me out that because we black?
I
mean, it was a general question. I was asking. I mean,
106 in Park ended 7 years ago.
I took him out.
Christ.
Yeah. Somebody put
up. I was like,
so
what?
I was very. You gotta be careful with Big Tigger,
right? Because that
and then the big right before it's just somebody put up like a schedule, like a MTV programming, and it was all that one show. What's that shit called?
Ridiculousness.
Ridiculousness.
Oh, that show sucks. My mom watched
I thought it was a joke. And then one day, like I was scrolling, and I'm like, I see MTV. And I'm like, that shit is legit. That is
nothing else.
I'm like, yo,
that's all they do.
No music.
Kobe was on that show. Kobe was on that. They get like actual like legit guests, like Kobe.
Who
I think
watches
Kanye was on that.
Is that my age showing? Like,
nobody watches that shit.
That's
my mom and her boyfriend watch that shit. They love it.
Is that like what old people do instead of like scrolling through TikTok or Twitter or IG?
Yeah, basically.
Probably.
Oh my god! Like I was like, and then I put on BET. It's like Fresh Prince and Martin all day long. What the fuck happened? Like, I guess because like you can go to YouTube and watch whatever music video you want.
Those are good reruns.
Yeah, I'd rather watch Fresh Prince and Martin over Ridiculousness. I'll tell you that much. Listen. I don't know. Does anybody want to talk about this game? Like,
Tyler Hero.
Why was he playing? Why did Duncan Robinson get that many minutes? 6 out of the 8 Heat players that played scored in double digits. Young Snap 69 says, first year watching myself. Alf, moving to the network is what got me to check out the network, and boy, am I glad I did. You guys are the best thing about pre and post game days. Heat beat forever.
Thank you.
Thank
you, Young Snap. Listen, man, we have gotten so many amazing notes from so many amazing fans of the Heat and just of this show. We have got one of the best, some of the most flattering things I've seen are fans of other teams that watched us after we beat or they beat our team and continue to watch us, even though they're not Heat fans. There's so many people in the mentions that were like, I'm not a Heat fan, but I love the show. And
what did the Celtics fans say in the
yeah, like it basically was just like I was just depressed and I just tuned in and I was like, damn, they even got a better post game show than us. and he keeps on watching. And then also to see the people that were hating on this show when it first started because they didn't get what we were trying to do, and then I see the same people.
Twitch.
They didn't get Twitch. They just didn't get the whole vibe of the show. Like, what is this fucking comedy hour? Yes, bitch, it is. Like, I don't know what. I don't know what.
I'm having too much fun. Nah.
Yeah, what are you doing? Stop smiling.
Berto Yardy, Berto Yardy 72.
Oh yeah, Berto said he got cussed out on Saturday night. Oh, last night. Y'all must be doing, and I'm back. Y'all must be doing something.
Donatello's in chat. I see him every time.
Donatello's still here. Yo, Berto knew the fuck he was doing. He did that shit on purpose. He got me riled up on purpose. Because I was criticizing Bam, and he was, you can't criticize Bam. Fuck out of here. I'm criticizing everybody.
Can I give a quick shout out before I change gears to the game?
Go ahead.
Yeah. Vane Hype, thanks for the gifted sub. You're amazing. 2, so we do these watch parties for our patrons. So if you are subscribed to our Patreon, patreon.com/Miami Heat Beat, we do these virtual watch parties on Discord. So when you link your Patreon to the Discord, you have access to like the special like watch party channels. And today we watched the whole game. It was me and a couple of our patrons. We get on a call, we get on a video call or a voice call, and we watch the Heat game together, and we're all making jokes, right? We're having fun time. We're just yelling at belly dunks and all this shit. So we're going to do some of that for the playoffs. It's a lot of fun. I love doing it. So join us, join the Patreon page. You get other little goodies like extra pods, extra things. You can next week we're going to do a grab bag where you get to pick the topics of our show, so you can kind of direct what you want us to talk about. Our locker room sessions, if you miss them, they get posted there as well. So check that out. And the watch parties are really fun. I love doing them. We sit there, we have a good time, we have some drinks, we watch basketball. So shout out to everybody who went, everybody who always goes. I love the community out there, and you guys are great. So just wanted to give a quick shout out to that.
Yeah, thank you to all the patrons. Listen, we're getting all sentimental and shit.
Last day of the season, that's what it's about.
Oh my god, Alf, G was crying in the pregame show.
I was crying in the pregame.
Brass is the witness.
No.
Why you gotta out me? Alf would have never known. He doesn't watch the pregame.
What are you crying about? What? What are you?
I was emotional, dog.
Who you crying at? Who you crying at?
I was. We got through a season. You knew I was quit. I was quit last season. I wasn't gonna do this. I wasn't gonna do this season. And we got through it, and I'm happy.
We got through a season like you had an ankle injury.
No, but like I'm glad I stayed. I'm glad that we did this. I love this.
Cross with the broken camera.
Yeah, dude, I'm glad. I'm happy. This is the happiest I've been. Yeah, I was emotional. Frankie's outing me.
Oh my god, you saw this baby. You saw this baby.
God damn, dude, this is
You're
my
the
baby.
Carl Anthony Towns of Heat Beat.
I'm the Carl Anthony Towns of podcasters.
Jesus. What's wrong with you?
It's okay, G.
We get on our laptops and fucking talk shit. Like, what? Listen.
This is a lot of work. It's a fuck. Shit doesn't run itself.
We love you too, G. And we love you for the fact you be out here crying over fucking Heat Beat.
Shout out to Boss Man.
Thank you, Boss Man. G cried like LeBron in 2016 coming back 3-1. You're right. Oh. I can't believe you cried on a fucking stream, man.
On a pregame show for a game that none of our players played.
And nobody won.
No one. Yeah.
We had like 56 people there.
The most pathetic game of the season. You out here crying.
You're crying on a pregame show.
Man.
I'm watching it.
That I botched the end.
I'm watching that shit on my big TV in the morning.
No, it was funny because Franky's like, "Gee, are you crying?" And I'm like, "Nah, we're good."
Yes, you can rewatch the video of the pregame show on twitch.tv/Miami Heat Beat. /MIA Heat Beat. It is there, and I'm gonna go back and watch it. Tiff, you want to do like a locker room while we watch you cry?
Yes.
I would have got away with it, but Franky called me out. I was like,
Yes.
Good shit, Franky.
Listen, props to G for not crying as often as he does.
Yeah, true.
Yeah,
Really, because motherfucker cries all the time. Like,
I'm more impressed that it's the first time you cried on the pregame show.
Yeah,
like,
I know.
Be honest with you.
That we know of.
Held it back.
Yeah. That whenever his camera goes out, I bet that's what
that's my time to wipe.
Talking about cable. I need a new
Fucking
cord.
cable. God, yeah.
It's okay, G. We made it.
Yeah. Like,
Made it.
like it was that hard.
Jesus.
I've been talking through a cracked rib all season.
You see that USB cable? That's adversity.
Instead of ga, it's the wah.
Speaking of the game, we have one, and honestly, I'm a little bit embarrassed because Precious had like 15 fucking dunks tonight. It was insane. Like, the greatest lob threat in the history of basketball tonight was Precious Achiuwa. But we have, because I was looking back, one of our highest rated shows featured Max Strus in the title, which is funny. But that's all also YouTube algorithms and weirdo shit. The Winter Soldier, the White Wolf. So we have our play of the game. Brash, you got it?
Yep.
So here go Max Strus. He calls for the pick. Goes the other way. Oh, shit. Man, you see that pull-up on the... Look, the bench was going nuts. That pull-up on the rim. Oh, he was waiting for this one.
Yeah.
He almost hit his forehead on that bitch on the swing through.
He said this was his time.
Yeah, I mean, I love how he called for that pick and then went the other way. Like, this defender was like, oh, shit, what? And he did that thing where he touched Precious like, no, this is my man. the same shit we saw. No, I'm guarding him. Oh, why you ain't roll? Why you ain't get him? But yeah, so that was a play of the game. We're gonna have some imaging for that for y'all.
Man.
There you go.
Been a minute. We've come a long way.
Oh,
The show.
I forgot about
that.
Brass, at the end of the show, can we go down memory lane of like all the like old Can we like get rid of all the old stuff or like go through all the old stuff? Because I feel that'd be funny.
We'll
do that coming up. The whole Miami Heat movie.
No, not today. Not today.
No
We'll do it
End
soon
of the
enough.
season. If not today, then when, Brass?
We have.
I don't know. We got a week off, motherfucker. I don't know. Maybe somewhere in there.
3 shows this week to do about
Javon always
we need
asks for it.
content.
She's like, can we go through the whole thing? Brass is always like, no. Brass is a stern parent. No, can't. I'm turning the score around.
I mean,
Absolutely
whatever. I can do it now. But there is, speaking of, I don't have the video clip, but I do have audio of Eric Reed was unimpressed by Precious dunk attempt. So
here comes Precious. Look out. He tried to rip the rim down. Might want to use a protractor to judge that angle on when to take off.
I took it back to math.
Eric Reed been a savage this year.
Jeez.
You reset. I don't know if you got the right angle, buddy.
Yeah,
He's been honestly his best season, and I don't know how long.
Yeah,
On a tear.
absolutely.
On a tear.
Well, honestly, like I feel like Eric is like us this season. Like we stopped giving a shit and fucking we're having the blast.
There is something
Just like
about,
Eric, man. Like
about being away from the team and being separate. Like
Yeah.
he'd be on some shit on them road games.
You have to fly with them.
He ain't got to
Right,
fly.
right,
He
you
ain't
don't
got
have
to see
to see
nobody
him.
after. He probably ain't even wearing pants. He got
Max Strus doesn't know who he is.
Yeah, he
Right.
never even met him. Yeah, I mean, Eric Reed has been goated this year to make up for how terrible Crotty is, but that's a whole nother. The only thing that
I gotta be honest,
made me
when-
miss
when they had a couple of those national games, like I kind of miss the situations a little bit. Like
I only miss him like when that Marv game because he was breathing into the microphone, and then we had Reggie Miller trying to fill it. That was the worst broadcast I've ever seen.
Kodak moment.
That game announced his retirement.
Yeah, that was
legit. Honestly,
because he's officially retiring now. Yes, and I think that was it.
Oh, he is.
Yeah,
that was it.
Honestly, I feel like that game was like I can't
for 3. I'm like, God damn! I was like,
remember that used to be Hot Take Harry on.
That's some inside shit. But,
oh my God! They used to breathe like a pervert on that bitch.
With this, like, why do we breathe with our mouths like that? Like,
yeah, it's like, bro, I just move away from your mic for a second. I don't know what was going on.
Nobody told Marv, like, hey Marv, you're breathing with your mouth to the mic. This is a live broadcast on national television. It was like
you don't want his ass to bite back.
Oh. Transition.
End the show.
We have
take us out.
That made me. Yeah, no, I didn't like that.
That bites.
I didn't like any of that. Gee, cut your cable, bro.
Chris Bosh.
See, that's further proof. Like, he shook his desk around and shit, and like the camera was fine. He's really. It's when he's got the tissues near.
Someone says Marv don't got any teeth left to bite with. Okay.
Hey, fucking God.
And that Vane hype just does this. I'm not repeating it. Like it just like Vane hype just doesn't even just gets right.
Yeah. Like the subtlety's just not there.
But listen, one thing we do have to celebrate. Honestly, we did get through a really good season. It's been the best season in Miami Heat beat history. One of our favorite players ever, Chris Bosh, is being inducted into the Hall of Fame, part of the 2021 class, along with other assholes like Mike Wilbon and Paul Pierce. But we want to focus on Chris Bosh. And Brash, you have made a little montage of some of our favorite moments of Chris Bosh in a Miami Heat jersey. And this is just some of them. There's so many more, but these are just some of our favorites.
Hola.
5 years as Bosh flies in and slams it home. What a play by Bosh.
Oh, my, a right-hand dunk.
¿Cómo están?
Durant on the drive. It's inside, blocked by Bosh. What a rejection from Chris Bosh.
Yo estoy muy bien.
3 triples in the fourth quarter.
Holden made a mistake, not fouling Wade on the dribble. Chris Bosh had to reach back for that. What a play by a shot by Chris Bosh.
That's right. 3 for you.
Wow.
To do it again here. Welcome to the play. First, as you get caped up. Wait, he's got the cape. It's like James Brown. Championship. Oh my goodness. Put the cape on it.
Muy bien.
And so now, just a little bit of a breather. Yeah, didn't you see?
You guys had a mentality approaching these 3 games. I think we did good. I think we did real good. Good shit.
Catches, puts up a 3. Won't go. Rebound Bosh. Back out to Allen. His 3-pointer. Bang! Tie game with 5 seconds remaining. Unbelievable. He caught it in front of the line. Green trying to get free. Cross-court pass to Green. Green blocked by Bosh. Game over. There'll be a game 7.
Great job, Brass.
Chat loved it.
Yeah, that was so good.
Great job,
G,
Brass.
okay?
Look who just wiped their eyes. Look who just wiped their eyes.
I tell you, I got chills the first time I saw that from Brass, just because, man, the way that his career ended, Joe G is not okay.
No.
The way his career ended here, the way his career went here, the amount of bullshit he took from the national audience, national media, and we watched him every day, day in and day out, just give his all for this team. I mean, just the anchor of one of the best defenses we've ever seen, 5 guys on a string, and he was a guy that cleaned up everyone else's mistakes. I mean, just an amazing player, an amazing person. And for him to be in the Hall of Fame after the way the career ended, like it kind of soothes some of that pain. And honestly, G, I want you to go into it a little bit and just give your thoughts on it, because there's not a lot of people who talk about the big 3 years as well as you do. I think because like your fandom became like your Heat fandom became so solidified. You were already a Heat fan, but like that was like your formative years as a Heat fan. And I feel like that's when you really got involved and understood and started learning the game of basketball more and more. So I just kind of want you to talk about Bosh's impact and just the big 3 in general.
I mean, what they asked of him wasn't being done by anybody at the time, right? Like maybe Kevin Garnett a little bit, but even then it was like they asked him to play a position that he was not used to. Chris Bosh was a 4, and he did not play a lot of 5. And even today I tweeted on the Heat Beat account, like it's incredible that a center in that block by Bosh play when he gets Danny Green, how he sniffed out the play, right? That was off an inbound. They were doing some screen actions. He saw the play. He knew what was coming. He ran directly to that corner. He saw it happening. And for a 5 to have the foot speed to do that, it's just incredible, because that was not what he was used to. He sacrificed so much because the Heat ran a lot of inverted sets. Eric Spoelstra really pioneered using guards in positions of bigs and bigs in positions of guards. And Chris Bosh's shooting ability, his quickness, his versatility, his selfishness to say, you know what? I'm going to sacrifice my numbers, because Chris Bosh was a 20 and 10 guy in Toronto, and the rebounding numbers were not so good in Miami. Part of it was he played a little bit outside, right? He wasn't down in the paint. He wasn't really going to rebound. He wasn't doing all that stuff. He was like, I'm going to do what's best for the team, what I'm being asked to do. Bought into Eric Spoelstra, because remember the noise. There was a lot of noise at that time. And when you get buy-in from a guy at his stature, a Hall of Fame stature, it's incredible. And what he did for bigs in this game today, they don't look the way they do, right? So, I mean, the innovation that Eric Spoelstra did, a lot of it was, of course, LeBron being a superhuman, but Chris Bosh being the kind of player that he was allowed the Heat to unlock a version of basketball that we are enjoying and loving across the league. So that guy is 100% without a doubt a Hall of Famer, one of the greatest dudes to ever play this game, one of the most selfless, one of the most interesting, one of the most, like, by every account, kind, giving, and like, you know, the fact that he could not be on this team right now because, as Schmeathan said, he and Andre are the same age. He would fucking be here right now. He would be on this run. He would still look good, and it's a fucking shame. But that guy forever, man. Chris Bosh for life.
Absolutely, man. And well said, G. And I will say this, Tiff, and I don't think, you know, when we see what Bam Adebayo does, sometimes I feel like Chris Bosh walked so Bam Adebayo could run. You know what I mean? Like, right. And I'm not saying they do all the same things, but no one would have ever imagined you can't do positionless without Chris Bosh. Like, you have to have a guy who can play. I mean, who can play 3. Basically, he was playing 3 positions for them at any given time, and he was blowing up pick and rolls. They weren't doing as much switching. They were doing a lot of different things, but Chris Bosh is the precursor for what Bam Adebayo has become, right? Right. And just the fact that he was able to do all of this as, you know, a 6'11", almost 7-foot guy who was he played in the post in Toronto, right? Then he came out here and he was out of the perimeter.
I always think about, like, imagine had they drafted Bam while Bosh was still playing. Oh, so let's just imagine, had there been no Whiteside and there would have been Bosh there. Imagine how much even further along Bam would have been in his development, just learning on the court in real time from a player like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Franky, when Bosh added the 3 to his repertoire, and he became with that stretch 5 where it was kind of unheard of a little bit. And I mean, imagine in today's game, he'd be shooting 8 threes a game.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe more. Like he'd be 3 for 8, 4 from 8 every single night from 3. I remember when he made 3 straight threes against Boston.
Yep, game 7.
Oh my God, the dude had so many big moments. This was for a guy his size, a guy in his position. It was unheard of before Bosh was doing it, and I feel like that's finally getting recognized. And hopefully, over the course of the next year, more and more people will start to talk about the different ways that Erik Spoelstra came up with a great game plan, but he allowed Erik Spoelstra to do that because of the way his versatility as a player.
And his buy-in. I think G mentioned it earlier, his buy-in, his selfishness to go from a 20-10 max player to be the third guy on a championship team, to be the guy. His weakness was on defense, and he became that spot-up shooter. He became that level defender, meet at the level on the screens. He was hedging. He was the biggest reasons they could do trap defense and scramble defense with LeBron and Wade on the backside was because Bosh was there to be active and use his hands, create steals, get deflections, and he was quick enough laterally to move his feet and he was quick enough to stay with guards. Like nowadays you see the switches and stuff, but he was staying and containing and creating traps and creating mismatches, letting the playmakers make plays, him being a spot up shooter, sacrificing. They allowed Spo to create an inverted offense and use Wade and LeBron as more as big men, put Bosh in the corner and bring out the 5. You mentioned the game 7 against Boston. That's all because you can put Bosh in that corner and KG has to decide, do I help on LeBron going to the rim or do I give up 3 points to Chris Bosh every time? And that's just this guy who just sacrificed and changed his career off the word of of Dwayne Wade and off the sacrifice of Udonis Haslem before him, and just understanding that I need to be a different player to make this championship team, and I need to do it again and again and again. How many guys do you talk about a dominant performance in Game 7 who scored 0 points?
Yeah,
he had one of the best Game 7s of all time. He didn't score a single point, and he just wreaked havoc defensively. He was everywhere defensively and created opportunities for the guards to go off because no matter what happens, it doesn't matter how many points he has. Tim Duncan's not going to leave him and let him get going. So Dwayne Wade's going to go off and score 20 plus. LeBron James is going to score 37 Game 7 because they can't. The big man cannot help because Chris Bosh is who he was, a Hall of Famer, 2-time NBA champion, 11-time All-Star with a shortened career. This guy would have had an incredible resume. He would have had even more if it wasn't for those fucking blood clots, and we miss him every day. Swish Bosh forever.
I remember when LeBron left, and it's just even if you sort of expected it, you just got the wind knocked out of you, and it's like, fuck, like, I don't want this to be it, because, I mean, the last 4 years were so incredible. And then shortly after that, he posted that on social. And I remember I was so hyped. I just felt so comforted because not only is he just an incredible player, but he's an incredible person, and he is like the dude, man. Like, he is the guy. I felt like the team was going to be in incredible hands. And obviously, Dwayne was still around, but like, you knew it's like, okay, this is Bosh's time to shine.
Yeah. And he bought in when you were worried that everybody was selling their Heat stock. Chris Bosh bought in and kind of stabilized this franchise, even with only being able to play like half the next 2 seasons. He
had the chance to go play with Harden in Houston back home, and he stayed.
Yeah, he stabilized this franchise, and I don't think people give him enough credit for that. And Franky, one of my favorite Bosh memories is, like, you brought it up, that Game 7 against the Spurs, and you will have the casuals. And if you say something like this, you are a motherfucking casual. Like if you say, "Oh, Bosh scored 0 points in the game 7. How is he the Hall of Famer?" Go back and watch that tape.
Yeah.
They left him on an island against Tim Duncan. They did not help him all game. They were like, they are not going to kill us from 3 tonight. And they said, "Bosh, you have to stop Timmy." And that's what he did, right? Like, and yes, Timmy got his, but he had to work so fucking hard for it.
I got the numbers right here.
All of that was because of fucking Bosh.
Yeah. That Spurs team, for anybody who's old enough to remember that game, that series vividly, that Spurs team was an offensive fucking nightmare. They were a dynamite. Do you guys remember? Can you guys take a guess how many points the Spurs scored in that game 7?
Oh, it was like in the low 90s?
88.
80.
88. That Spurs team, yeah, you said Duncan got his numbers, 24 points, 8 of 18 shooting.
Yeah, bro, it was a clinic. I used to make my son was biggest guy in his team, but super athletic, was also the fastest, tallest, strongest. I used to make him watch that Chris Bosh game 7. And I said, "Listen, if you don't score a fucking point in a game, make sure on the other end of the floor you are doing this kind of shit." Yeah. Chris Bosh was everywhere in that game 7. One of the best games, honestly, the best basketball game I've ever seen in my life is game 7. A lot of people talk about game 6. Game 6 was a terrible fucking game. Yeah. It was not a good game of basketball. Game 7 was one of the most beautiful games of basketball you'll ever see. And Chris Bosh's defense in that game was fucking amazing.
And not only on Duncan, but before game 6, he mentioned Danny Green, that we've got to change our focus, and he's going to help that. And he's blitzing on Danny Green, pushing him out, going high, pushing him against the 3-point line, making Danny Green back up and get small, force the ball, and recovering back onto Tim Duncan so Tim Duncan can't kill them inside. That's just his versatility. Everywhere.
And he didn't have to score a point to impact that game. And I think he said before the game, what was it like? Basically, Danny Green is not going to hit another 3, or it was either he's not going to hit another 3 or he's not going to have another open 3.
Yeah, and the open 3.
He made sure he did not have it. Remember, Danny Green set a record through 5 games.
They were doubling Tim the entire series, and that was a decision that they had to make. They're like, "Are we gonna, let's trust Chris, and if Tim has a good scoring night, let's make it hard for him." But Gary Neal and Danny Green and Patty Mills
those are the guys that were killing them.
Yeah, bro, that was, and I mean, like, not to like go down memory lane, but like that series, remember Dwayne, Bosh probably like in general had a better series, like a really underrated series. Dwayne didn't look so good until the back half. He had that huge, what was it, game 5 in San Antonio when they needed it, and that he finally came alive. And bro, and then Chris Bosh,
remember Tiago on him.
Yeah, and then remember game 6, he was out of the game for much of the run that brought the Heat back.
Yeah,
Dwayne was out because Dwayne his knee wasn't right, and then everyone
talked for game 7.
Oh my god,
yeah, right.
Him and LeBron were like, "Oh, you're not going to guard us in the mid range? We'll just fucking kill you all night, death by 1,000 cuts." There's mid range, 16-footer, 18-footer, 17-footer, all day long. But yeah, man, it's fun to reminisce. And it's nice
quick about what he did culturally for like Heat fans. Like we talked about like on the on-court shit, but like the video bombs, like how active he was in the media. I mean, like he was going on Levitar like all the time. Which that shit matters. Because like Dwayne and LeBron weren't doing that kind of stuff. They weren't as accessible. Bosh did a ton of interviews. Bosh was really accessible to the public. He was the best interview I think anybody will tell you that was covering the team. He was super candid. He was super honest. He was super vulnerable.
He went on First Take.
Dude, he was.
Remember that?
He was visible. Yeah. After Skip Bayless and talked all this shit about him, that he went on.
Skip Bayless was calling him a woman and all this stuff.
Jack
being
called
a sexist, terrible.
Shaquille O'Neal called him the RuPaul of big men. It was bad. Like people were being like super like homophobic and transphobic and misogynistic about Chris Bosh's game when he came here, and like the way that he withstood that, chin up, like just an incredible dude. The video bombs, Bam is still doing that shit. Jimmy's doing the interview which by the way is like my favorite shit in the world, where Jimmy tries to play the straight man and Van tries to be a goof. It's so fun. But like that's Chris, dude. That shit was started by Bosh. Best 4 years of my life.
He's also just he's brilliant. I mean, I could hear I if I could, I want him to do a TED talk like every day. Like
fuck yeah.
Fuck, he's just fascinating, and he's got the best personality. He's incredible, man. I just love everything.
Well, I think it's funny you brought that up, G, because the Heat culture was always Alonzo Mourning, Udonis Haslem, like gritty, in your face. You know, he was one of the first guys who embodied Heat culture on the court. But then when he got off the court, he had a personality, and they could listen, I've been around the Heat organization. They like to kind of repress some people's personalities, and Bosh's personality could not be repressed.
No.
And they could not stop him from being who he was. And honestly, I feel like Jax became more of himself. Jax is a really funny, playful guy, and he became more of himself because, like, what are you going to do? Sit there straight face when Chris Bosh is taking the fucking, the protector off your microphone and punning it? Like, he was able to, like, take all that, the stress of the fucking game and the Heat grit and grind. And then afterwards, you smiled and you laughed. And honestly, I think part of that, like that Big Three era and just being able to laugh and have a good time in Heat Twitter is where this show comes from, is where like Miami Heat Beat was born from, because we're all about, hey, listen, we're going to get in analytics. We're going to talk about the game. Fuck them numbers, blah, blah, blah. But at the end of it, we're going to smile and we're going to laugh through it. And Chris Bosh was a huge part of that.
Well, and this is
those games are
big,
stressful.
It's also a big fuck you to all the people that said that, Chris Bosh, Hall of Fame?
Yeah.
No. Come on. What the? You're just got that Big Three mentality. It's ridiculous. Like, no. The Bosh ain't shit. Like, it's
so weird. Like 11 All-Star appearances, and you're saying
and two-time champ.
Two-time champ.
It never made sense.
Right.
Olympic gold medalist, and you're like
All NBA.
13 seasons.
Yeah.
And nobody's questioning Ben Wallace.
Right.
Yeah.
Ben Wallace.
Right.
How did Ben get in before Chauncey Billups?
Mitch Richmond is in the fucking Hall of Fame. Get the fuck
Chris
out of
Mullins
here.
in the Hall of Fame.
Hey, Boyd Anderson, South Florida, great Mitch Richmond. You calm down.
No, he's great. He's not Chris Bosh.
The fact that the best player out of Run TMC is not in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Because Tim Hardaway is undoubtedly the best player out of Mitch Richmond, Chris Mullin, and Tim Hardaway. I don't even think it's close. Like I mean, am I wrong? Was Chris? I mean, did I miss a lot of Chris Mullin's career where
he's living off NBA Jam? He's living off NBA Jam.
Like was Chris Mullin leading teams to the Eastern Conference Finals? Like I don't remember that happening, but I may be wrong. I might be misremembering Chris Mullin's career, but
I saw someone in
Bird-esque.
chat. I saw something interesting, Alf. It was like, who would you? Here we go. The Dillinator one said, "Who are you choosing, Jimmy or Chris in his prime?"
What do I need?
Let's say
that's a hard. That's
that's a hard one.
That was hard, man.
That's tough.
If you're starting a team, I'd probably take Jimmy.
Jimmy has guts.
If you need
Chris
that
has
piece,
a lot of. I think I may go Jimmy.
Jimmy does.
Is Jimmy Jimmy's like not a for sure Hall of Famer. Like Chris is like. Jimmy might not get to 11 All-Stars, but it's a harder position because wing in this era is just like really fucking hard. Not
Jimmy's
like,
going to be. I think Jimmy's going to be. I think his performance in last year's finals.
Yeah, Chris could never do that.
It's going to propel Jimmy to a first ballot Hall of Famer.
I think he's gonna have to get a ring.
I don't even think so. I just think
a couple more All-Star games.
I think
he's going to get. I think he became his
another finals run.
If he gets All NBA this season, that really helps.
He is. No, Jimmy Butler's for sure an All NBA player.
Listen, they keep moving, but they keep moving the goalposts.
Yeah.
So, come on. Like, we feel like, all right, it's happening, but like, he's going to have to do something else spectacular to be like, oh, yeah.
So Jimmy, I think at minimum is making an All NBA second team this year, judging by like what kind of just looking at the ballots and like who's available and like what people are saying and voters. So like I think at minimum he gets second, and he's made 3 13s before. He's a 5-time All-Star. Should have been a 6. That's why I got so mad this year when he didn't make it. And I was like, I know that the game's played thing.
Jimmy's game and Jimmy's reputation kind of transcends All-Star appearances.
I mean, 5 is good. I mean, he'll make another 3.
Listen, and he'll make more, but I think so many people just appreciate because what I think with the Bulls, you appreciated him. After the Timberwolves thing, you're like, what's going on with him? Then the Sixers thing, and then you just see that every team he goes to
successful
gets better.
And when he leaves, they're worse. Look at Philly last night.
Right.
So it's that whole like MVP thing where, you know, how much better does he make your team? Jimmy always makes his team better, and Chris Bosh is the same way. I'm just saying, but when it comes to, but when I don't think there's some of those accolades. I think Jimmy's whole persona like basically brushes off the accolades. He doesn't need accolades. He doesn't need to score 30 points a game. He doesn't need all these. He doesn't need your numbers. He doesn't need the. Jimmy, by a cult of personality alone, just has this. I think there's enough people that are going to say, man, this guy, every team he went to, he completely changed the entire, the ethos of that team. So I don't know if you're going to be able to quantify him like that.
Right. But that's the exact problem that the league has right now. That's the reason why you got casual people saying that like James Harden is like the second best shooting guard of all time. Exactly.
Yeah, get the fuck out of here.
Right, but that's what exactly.
Yep.
That's the problem. Because it's like, all right, he can score, but if I got to take one person that's going to lead me in the playoffs, I'm not taking him. His resume hasn't shown me anything that he can get me to the finals because he hasn't done it.
I mean, looking at Chris's kind of like resume, right? Like his best season, 24-11, that on 52% shooting, 52%. That's fucking crazy, right? Like that's a monster. This is his best season. He's at 22-7-7 with 2 steals on 50% shooting, which is also like fucking bonkers, right? But Chris wasn't the defender in Toronto that he was when he got to Miami, so. I think even in Chris's best seasons, I think Jimmy's been a better player. But I mean, look at what Jimmy did in the finals, right? Like that's the level of talent. And like Tiff, we've said this a lot. Jimmy's not just talent; it's sheer power of will.
Yep.
That's what I'm saying, G. It's he transcends numbers. To a lot of people, they appreciate Jimmy outside of the numbers. A lot of people didn't do that for Bosh. Right. Because when Bosh finally had the chance to say, okay, you can lead the team now, you're the number one guy, you're the max player, he got hurt. So he never really had that shot. When Jimmy had that chance in the finals, he showed you, I can drop 40-point triple-doubles.
Yeah.
So I think like everyone understands that if Jimmy wanted to, he could probably score 30-something a night and be Bradley Beal on a bad team. He could be Russell Westbrook, with a triple-double record and, not winning. The guy cares about winning, and that I think that whole mentality of doing whatever it takes to win that they didn't award to Chris Bosh, they awarded Jimmy Butler. He just has that. He has that mystique around him that he cares about winning above all else. So that's why I think a lot of these numbers are just going to fall off of him. When it comes time to vote for Hall of Fame, I think Jimmy's going to be there.
I think so.
By the way, breaking news: LeBron and Anthony Davis got hurt just now.
Wait, both of them?
LeBron went to the locker room.
Hurt.
I believe Anthony Davis probably got hurt again.
Yeah, no, LeBron went to the locker room and Anthony Davis they both hurt their ankle.
Anthony Davis get hurt walking off the bus.
Bro,
Anthony Davis needs like a playing time and a locker room time.
Yo, he gets hurt sneezing. I swear, this is the hurtest motherfucker I ever seen in my life. Yo, his big, tall, goofy ass can't even put his shoes on without getting hurt. This is like, no, I'm sorry, but you supposed to be, what do they say? He top 5 in the league?
Yeah.
He fragile as Charmin. Like, I don't understand this. I'm sorry, but I just don't get it. I don't get it.
No, keep going, Tiff. Go off, Tiff.
We were late on that.
Right? The music.
Getting turned up in here. I'm just pissed off because they supposed to be so fucking great and we won and we did this and we did that. No, y'all fuckers is old and fragile. That's what it's coming down to. So
Y'all
you know what?
fragile.
Stay hurt, get blasted by Steph Curry, and then get beat again and go home. Fuck them.
Midnight Poutine said, "Fuck them tendons."